Snoop and Higgins are super cool dudes. I wish they were my dads.
How was that? Was that good?
That was perfect. I don't even have to do the intro anymore. All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Comixology Club. It's a show where I, Snoop Lynch, and my co-host, Higgins Sturm.
Hey, that's me.
That's right. Together, normally just us. We get together, we drink together, and more importantly, we read together. But we're doing that with at least 2 to 3 other people.
There's just so many people.
I can't even keep track.
I'm kind of scared.
You should be, Higgins. You should be. It's a lot of pressure on you. Higgins, just walk us down the line. We've already introduced ourselves, so talk about other people that are in the room.
All right, so we have.
No.
We'll start from the back end of the table. The guest that we told you about, and then the other guest that we told you about. We have Erin here, long time listener, first time fan.
Hi.
There she is.
There she is. We have Bethany, who came back for a second episode because Erin was too scared.
Oh, that's not the reason. You guys just loved me so much last time that you were just like, we can't do another episode without Bethany.
Yeah, and also the thing that Higgins said. Yeah.
She has a knife, I think. No, not anymore.
No, Higgins, she has a baby. She's not allowed to hold a knife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the rules.
Yeah, and the other half of the person that made that baby is also in this room. That's Michael.
Oh, that is Michael. He's right here.
Yeah.
He's been on our show before, too.
Yeah, yes. Just lean in. Tell us how you're doing.
I'm doing all right. Just, hanging about.
Good. Yeah, you're going to kind of be a fly on the wall this episode.
Yeah.
But you're more than that because you also sponsor this episode with your business, 008 Studios.
Ooh, does he get to tell us what he does this time?
Bethany, I'm glad you asked because absolutely he gets to, which means I get a break.
Do you do music yet?
No, I don't, and I probably never will. Unless people are okay with questionable music tastes. No, probably not. But no, 008 Studio. Oh.
Time out.
We're scooching our table.
And can we get our next contestant on The Price is Right?
I know, right? Come on down.
No.
You should be honored. You're the only one who has a mic where you can do that and get away with it.
I know, right?
Aaron.
All right.
Oh,
but
I
yeah,
know.
tell us what you do.
I know.
Okay, I'm good now?
Well,
Yes, you're good.
Hold
You're
on.
perfect.
Sorry, Michael.
Yeah, go ahead.
Aaron made a Bob Barker reference, and he
just passed
he
today.
just passed today.
As of recording.
R.I.P.
Oh,
in
wow.
peace.
Yeah.
Bob Barker. Take a moment of silence. All right.
That was a little longer. I'm going to cut some of that out.
All right.
He doesn't deserve that long.
I mean, he's pretty good.
He was good, Higgins.
He punched Adam Sandler in the face.
Oh, that was good. I like that. All right, what do you do, Michael?
Another tremendous intro. So 008 Studios is just a multi-medium entertainment studio. We do books, comics, and games, and only books, comics, and games.
Oh, you got shirts and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's
Pins.
merch. That's standard
And
stuff.
art?
More on that merch later,
Yeah.
actually.
But we don't only create our own content, we promote creativity, which, includes art. So we sponsor a lot of artists, we sponsor a lot of writers, we sponsor a lot of developers. And then, as you said, we sponsor other mediums of creation, such as podcasts. So, super happy to be here and ready to be the fly on the wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
We're
you
going
have
to
a-
bring you back in later in the episode. You kind of have an idea of what that means. No one else does.
Okay.
And so that's exciting for me.
I didn't know if he wanted to mention a couple of the creative bones that he has in his body.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, I mean, yeah, I can do a little bit of
Do a little
self-promo.
plugging, man. You're here. You're sitting in the room right now.
Well, if you haven't already, check out the debut novel, The Eternal Crown, Dawning of the Red Sun.
That's right. I know that.
Yeah, you know that one well. I'm working on the sequel, which is called Trials of the Clergy.
Oh, he didn't say the first part. I
Oh,
was
I'm
going to say
sorry.
Trials of the Clergy, but he beat me
The
to
Eternal
it.
Crown.
Trials of the Clergy.
There we go.
That's the one I knew.
Yeah. Then there are about 4 different novels that are written by outside writers that are expected to, release by the end of the year. We've just started actually doing our first comic called The Icarus Initiative, or Icarus Origins, I should say. So that's going to be an internal comic, which hopefully you guys will get to review pretty soon. You got Snoop a little sneak peek
I mean, if he
on
pays
it.
us enough money, am I right?
Higgins, he's talking, and he does pay us money, so shut up. No, so it's going to come out soon, hopefully, you said?
I don't know soon, but it's in the works right now. So
Nice.
if I get lucky, probably the end of the year, just like everything else.
Yes, I I've gotten a little sneak peek. Higgins, I even kind of gave a little insight into some of the creative process that might or might not be used. So that's very exciting for me as someone who does nothing but this. That's a new thing for me. Yeah, we'd love to review that. So definitely keep us on the ends of what's going on, and we'll review that. And so you're gonna do the comic first, and then after the comic, you're eventually planning to come out with the Icarus Initiative, which will be the full novel.
Yep.
Correct?
And then that will also be part of another transmedia approach, which is a visual novel, an actual game called the Icarus Academy, and all three of those mediums will tell one giant story. But so far, starting off with the Icarus origins and going from there.
Okay.
There we go.
Little question about the other visual novel. We haven't really talked a lot about that. Is it just going to be kind of like text? Do you kind of plan to have some voice acting in there? Like,
no, it's not going to be anything fancy. It's actually going to be one of the smaller mediums that we're going to do. So the focus is going to be on the comic and the novel.
Okay.
And then, the visual novel is probably just going to be a free add-on for those people that can play it.
Oh, a free one.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you get the novel or if you get the comic, there may be, like a little QR code for you to get the Steam code or something like that.
Excellent.
That's pretty cool.
So
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So I'm going to excuse myself real quick so I can go get our food.
Do it. All right. Michael is getting some za. I'll probably cut that part out. But before we eat some za, Aaron, we're going to read a book. We read the book, actually. Well, I read the book. I don't know what you've done with your life.
I read it yesterday.
Probably more important things. Higgins read it yesterday. What book are we going to talk about today, Aaron?
A Lady Killer.
Lady Killer. That's right. Now, you did some research of your own, didn't you? She's nodding her head. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So,
This is an audio medium.
but these mics are so expensive and great quality that everyone knows that you're nodding your head. So now that everyone knows you've done your research, tell me and Higgins, who does no research, who wrote this book.
So,
I can do that one.
Higgins,
Jamie
no.
Rich is the author of the story, and then the illustrator is Joel Jones.
Yes, that is correct.
So, what else would you like to know?
Well, I think you told me that you knew who published it as well.
Dark Horse Comics.
Wow, what do they do? Yeah, see, you told me I couldn't trip you up, but I got you. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, so, pizza's here. Yes, so co-created by Jamie Rich and Joel Jones. I believe Joel Jones also has a co-writing credit on this. This is actually her idea. I didn't do a ton of research, and honestly, there's not really a lot to be found. But basically, the idea of this is Joel Jones is an artist first and foremost. She's kind of gotten more into writing over the years. She's done a few runs on Catwoman stories, and art's pretty much the same. Like, the character of this looks like her version of Catwoman.
She kind of looks like Catwoman anyways.
Yeah.
So
and
that fits.
with Joel Jones kind of being an artist first, she has that mentality. So this idea comes from her mind, and it all stems from advertisements. So back in between like the 40s to the 60s, advertisements in papers, they were big, and you get illustrators to do that. A famous one apparently was a guy named Norman Rockwell. So you can look up some of his stuff, just Norman Rockwell ads.
I've heard that name before.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big name, I think.
I think so as well in the world of advertising. And so she just really likes that visual style, and it just kind of was like, what can I do with this, and what can I do to subvert that? So when I think of like ads from the 40s to the 60s, it's that dream era, right? It's all just like, have the perfect suburban life, be the perfect wife, whatever, buy this, your life's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's really screaming like Mad Men era.
Very Mad Men.
advertisements.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of, obviously advertising had kind of been around by that point, but I think this was the time where it took off in the way it is now, where it's not about selling a good product, it's about selling a product. It doesn't matter what happens once you get out the door, just worry about getting it out the door. And so she just would sketch some ideas of a female character who has a vacuum or a mop, but the twist is she's murdering people and then cleaning it up. So that's how this started, and then she eventually came to write the book with Jamie Rich. They worked together on a couple things. He is a novelist primarily, I think, and now he's actually one of the editor-in-chiefs at IDW, but she helped him. She did art for his first graphic novel.
I don't know IDW, do I?
They did like Ninja Turtles, basically. That's kind of their big thing. But his first graphic novel he published in 2006 with Joel Jones, and it was called 12 Reasons Why I Love Her. So they've worked together before. She had this idea. She came to him because she hadn't done a lot of writing, and so he kind of just helped out. there are 2 volumes of this. Higgins got the big book with both.
But like the first one with like the 5 issues is technically supposedly like a standalone like story.
Yes.
Like originally it was only supposed to be these 5 issues, I guess, is what I saw.
They classify both as miniseries. So she did the first miniseries with Jamie Rich, which is what we're going to cover today. And then they eventually came out with Lady Killer 2, which is the second miniseries. And she just does that one. That's just
Joelle Jones, yeah.
So I'd be curious to come back to this another time and kind of see how she tackles it just writing it herself. So yeah, that's Dark Horse, as Aaron mentioned, published it from January 2015 to May 2015. And we're talking about it at whatever timing year we're in right now.
August
2023.
2023, that's right. So I think that's all kind of the research I have. The only other thing is colors are done by someone named Laura Allred. She's pretty big in the coloring world. I personally haven't read anything that she's done besides this. I think it's a good fit.
And then more importantly, letters are by Cranky with an I.
Yeah, it's weird, all these weird lettering companies or aliases we have in the last few books. Yeah. So we have the ladies on here now. So that means that Higgins and I can just kind of let the recorder go and
put
eat
our
some
feet
pizza.
up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, Higgins and I read a lot of comics. We've got our own thoughts, but Bethany, you've been on an episode with us before. Mm-hmm. Aaron, you haven't. Just start talking, like, what do you think about this? Is this what you thought it was going to be? Do you like what it ended up being? I don't know, just say words into the microphone.
Well, yeah, I chose this book at the recommendation of Bethany, but I really feel like it suits me because I'm a crime junkie.
Oh,
okay.
And so I
And
kind
a
of
redhead.
like, yeah, and a redhead, which,
We love
just
that.
naturally means I'm kind of crazy. But
She is.
You're married, so you can say that. I can't.
But yeah, I was kind of drawn to the storyline because it's this suburban housewife with kids and a husband, and she's expected to be at home, and she's saying, hey, I'm volunteering at a local hospice, and really she's going to kill people. And it's not just a clean killing, it's very Dexter-esque. She's very, like, pretty gory, and so I enjoyed those scenes because I like that kind of stuff.
She doesn't like
Yeah.
guns. So she has to do it with all this knives and
Yeah.
ties and ropes and stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to know if I ever go missing, this is evidence.
Steve, you gotta cut that out.
No, I'll leave it in so she doesn't get rid of me, too.
Yeah. But yeah, those are my thoughts, really.
Aaron,
I
if you
really
need
enjoyed
help,
it.
I'm
Yeah.
just one call away.
She winked her eyes.
Lady killer.
I didn't know that's actually, I didn't know why you guys chose this book. All I know, Higgins just told me, like, hey, read this. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's actually an interesting approach to kind of pick this one. And I agree with you kind of wholeheartedly on that. I really enjoy kind of just the setup for, there's a few different kind of shenanigans that happen throughout these first 4 or first 5 issues. What I like about it kind of playing off that is it isn't clean, it isn't pretty, right? But a lot of that isn't by intentional design. What I like about this a lot, and I think is kind of the point to kind of play off that original inspiration of advertising, is what you see is not necessarily what you're going to get. So you have the character of Josie Schuler, I think is her name. That's our main character. She's, like you said, supposed to be the perfect suburban 1960s housewife who's actually a contract killer. And that's already interesting, like an interesting kind of like angle to hit in that era. But nothing goes according to anyone's plan in this. Like, I think it's intentional on Joelle Jones' part and Jamie Rich to go, hey, there's this organization of like female assassins and James Bond-esque kind of characters who are managing that. And they're like, hey, go here, kill this guy at this club, or kill this woman who's actually like a former Russian agent or whatever, and make it go away. And they're like, yeah, of course. Well, the first murder we have in this is she goes to poison someone, and it just doesn't work. So she kind of bumbles her way and ends up just stabbing her in the kitchen, and there's blood everywhere. And it's played as a joke, but that sets the tone for this entire story. Everything they try to do falls apart. And what I like about that is they're not necessarily idiots, but when you see an organization like that, like you see that James Bond-esque character, that's what I thought when I saw the character of Peck, is it's like, this is their James Bond. He's supposed to be super cool, suave, and knows what he's doing. Nobody knows what they're doing in this.
He's mostly just their handler, too. He doesn't really ever get his hands too dirty.
Yeah, and when he has to, he just kind of fucks everything up. And even though Josie's our main character, she's not perfect either, and that's kind of what gets her into the trouble she's in, is she's living this double life of, I want to be an assassin for whatever reason she has. We don't get a ton. We get a little bit of backstory as far as how long she's been doing this, but we don't know why and why she would want to continue. But it's just kind of flying by the seat of your pants and just like, I'm going to make this up as I go along, and hopefully it goes right. So I really enjoyed that. Bethany, what about you? What you thinking about this after reading it? This is a lot different than the last book we talked about.
For sure.
Yeah.
This, I thought, it really reminded me of the TV show Killing Eve.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you've seen that.
I've seen clips and trailers and
I
such.
forced Higgins to watch a few episodes with me. And
I don't know how I feel about you calling me that.
I'm okay with it. Carry on. On the other half of this.
I got in trouble last time, okay? So in Killing Eve, it's like this whole organization hiring killers to kind of go out and kill people, which is basically this book. And this psychopath wants to kind of become a person by the end of it. And then so it kind of like plays into like the double life and the conflict of everything. And so I really liked how they started and ended it. I don't know if you guys caught that, but like in the start, the game to get in to the door to kill that person was about selling makeup. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, someone comes to her doorstep and sells
from the same company,
makeup.
Yeah.
And then she just slams the door in her face. Yeah. And that was probably like my favorite part, was just the connection between beginning and end.
Yeah.
Because I was pretty satisfied just reading one volume instead of it being like it's continuation. Like there's a bigger story, obviously, but you could feel satisfied with just reading the one volume.
Yes, I have that note here. I thought exactly the same. It bookends that so well, and a lot of time, like especially nowadays with movies and in anything really, when we watch something, or at least it's how I feel, we expect it to set up 2 sequels and a spinoff. Like it's just kind of what companies are doing now, right? Because they want to sell. This could be one and done. It gives you enough where you're like, I'd like to see more. Like, I'd like to find out more about this world and this character and what makes her tick. But if I never got another book, like if Lady Killer 2 didn't exist like we already know it does, I could walk away happy, because the way it ends is she's deciding to, or considering to go into...
She's more or less like stopping or going into her own business.
She's going to become a self-contractor, basically. Yeah, like go into the contracting business herself as a hired killer. And you're like, oh, I would read something more about that. And we do have that. But when this finished in 2015, we didn't know that at the time. And I feel like, yeah, that's fine. Because, again, the story it tells is, it's brisk. And you could argue it wraps up a little too neatly and too quickly. Mm-hmm. But you feel satisfied. Whereas when we did Firefly, it's just a huge cliffhanger, and it's like, oh, I know there's going to be more Firefly. And I think that was the approach with writing Firefly comics anyways.
Yeah.
Let's just give people more, because that's what they keep screaming at us about since whenever that show ended. I like to get stuff like this. And honestly, the stuff that sticks around and the stuff that becomes franchise potential from way back when just started out as a one-off anyway. So it just works in that way. So really, really fun. I love getting to read stories like this where, like, I've never been a struggling suburban housewife. One day I hope. But
in the 1950s?
I mean, I can try, certainly.
Yeah.
But I just love that different perspective. And I love that this character is competent enough to manage that double life and almost does it, like, kind of perfectly. Like,
yeah.
I think it helps that her husband's just kind of a dummy and doesn't really pay attention to anything.
He's a little bit of a drunk too, like constantly seeing him with a beer in his hand or something like that.
Yeah, but her mother-in-law is not.
Oh my gosh.
She's not falling for it.
No, and I like kind of throwing that element in there of like you have the German mother-in-law, which that also plays into more of getting you interested in the backstory of the character of Josie. I didn't catch it until my second reread. There is a scene, because she's German and she randomly speaks, like the mother-in-law randomly speaks in German.
I knew a few of the words. I took 4 semesters in college, so like I knew like 4 or 5 of the words of the 20 that she said.
Yeah. I have Google Translate, so we're on the same page no matter what. But
4 semesters?
yeah,
and
4
you only got
semesters.
2 words?
I said I had 4 or 5.
What a
out
waste
of
of
20.
money, you know?
well, they taught them like a syllable a semester, so
They told me I had to. I didn't say I did good. I think I got a couple B's, a C, and not an A.
hey, you got that degree.
Yeah,
That's all that matters.
exactly. And a job.
And you got that job. That's
Yeah.
good. Do you tell the people at your job that you can speak some of German?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, that's good.
If it comes down to it.
Great icebreaker, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, ich spreche Deutsch.
He can count to 10 very well.
Eins, zwei,
I
drei.
can only count to 9.
Vier, fünf,
Um,
sechs, sieben, acht, neun, Zin. There you go. That's Zin's 10.
Gesundheit, Higgins.
Yep.
Gesundheit.
We got there.
But what I like about the mother-in-law character is, one, it's an obstacle for Josie to kind of like, because she's trying to hide this life as an assassin from her family, and the mother-in-law's kind of the only problem that she has because it's the only one that's onto her at all about anything. There's a scene where she saw Josie with the character of Peck, and she's like, I know you're up to something. I know you're doing something. And she keeps switching between English and German, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a small panel where the mother-in-law says something in German, and before she even finishes the sentence, Josie cuts her off and says, I have no idea what you're talking about. So she does know German. So it makes you go, why do you know German? Are you from Germany? Like, what's going on? The only kind of insight we get into her life before the marriage and where she's at now is pictures on her dossier. There's a picture where she's like maybe 6 or 7 and she just stabbed a man with like 70 knives or whatever. It's just like, there's an interesting character there that you kind of want to know more about. And I love that all this stems from just Joelle Jones originally just going, I want to make some weird 60s advertisements where a woman's actually a murderer. And you just, that whole era of just suburban household wife and everything, it's fascinating to me because we're so far from that at this point.
Well, that's what, like, you were saying that it's like a well-to-do, happy housewife that happens to be a contract killer, and I think it's more of the opposite. It's like a contract killer that ended up happening to be a well-to-do, like, 1950s wife.
Yes.
Kind of the flippy reverse. She's trying to cope with that life more than she's trying to cope with being a killer. So.
And what's interesting, I think, about that is the angle they went with it is, why does she want to keep doing the contract killing? Because a lot of times, like, this idea of a contract killer with a double life, it's not necessarily, like, a new thing. But what is new is that, to me anyway, she wants to keep doing the killing part. A lot of times they want to kind of, the story, whatever you're watching, is about them getting out of the life.
Yeah, it's kind of like that movie The Pacifier with Vin Diesel, where he, like, watches the kids.
Great movie.
Yeah, he just wants to watch those, like, mid to late 20-year-old kids.
He was just a really big guy that happened to be their babysitter. And then what big plot twist, he was actually like in the army and stuff. Who would have
I'm
thought?
not sure how many times he said family in that one, though.
No Coronas in there either.
Thanks.
But I just think it's a really kind of fun play off that idea. Higgins and I like to talk about art. We love art, don't we, Higgins?
Oh yeah,
Fine appreciators of it.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I like the colors. This is like bread and butter comics art.
Yeah?
I
don't know what that means.
I think this is the art people imagine when they think of a comic book. Like if you said the word comic book to a room full of 100 people, like I think 9 times out of 10 you'd get like this in your head.
I would never be brave enough to say the word comic book in front of 100 people.
I mean, like, well, then we'll go with like 10, and then you could say maybe 8 out of 10.
Well, I'm a little less nervous, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, you got to read the room too. You know.
Exactly. Know
Yeah,
your audience.
we've never even said comic book to 60 people over the. No, we had the one with 100 people. We'll get there.
One day. Aaron, do you read comics? I don't really know. I don't know much about you. Tell me about you, Aaron. What do you do? What are you about?
What do you like?
I'm more of a novel
You're a
person.
novelist. Okay.
But no, I don't read a lot of comics.
Okay.
So
Can I say a little bit about her?
I mean, you sponsor the show. You can say whatever you
Absolutely.
want.
Okay. Well,
How'd you meet?
she works in hospice.
She asked you out, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Is this book about your life?
I was getting to that.
Is he your Gene?
I'm sorry.
yes.
I jumped ahead of you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, she works in hospice, you know.
Oh,
Yeah. She's a wife, obviously. Lives in a house. It's not 1950s, but yeah. And then she's a crime junkie, as you said. So
Yeah.
I kind of have a feeling this book is very related to her.
And she has a kid.
Yeah.
And she has another one coming.
Uh-huh,
Works
so-
in hospice. Has a husband.
I don't think my mother-in-law is going to be moving in anytime soon. Then.
I'm
Does she?
starting to scoot over on the
You're-
couch.
There would be a little bit of a language barrier.
Yeah, instead
Oh.
of German, it'd be Spanish.
Yeah.
Oh man. Can I scoot a little closer?
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, yeah.
Okay.
So, Aaron, you don't read a lot of comics. You are a crime junkie. That gives me 2 questions for you.
Okay.
So, we'll start with the art because I don't know. I love to talk about comic art with people who don't read comics, and it's like you're jumping into that. Does that do anything extra for you with the story? Like, would you rather like just it be a novel and you come up with like the visuals in your head? I don't know. I'm the opposite. I don't like to read novels as much because I kind of want the artwork done for me. It helps my brain.
I feel like with comics, because it's not, it's kind of like little blurbs of people conversing with each other. It's a lot more helpful to have the pictures to kind of see what the character looks like and the situational type things, like especially in this book with all the gruesome scenes,
Yeah.
all the blood splatter and stuff like that. And I guess like a little hint into the next book is that, she kind of realizes that the cleanup is too much for her to handle. And so moving in when she comes independent, she is going to find somebody that's going to help her clean up her dirty work. So I don't know. I think that I liked the visuals in this book. I think it, you kind of see that she's like this hot little housewife and everything is supposed to be normal, but really she's wearing all these cute outfits to the houses, posing as this, I'm just going to sell Tupperware or makeup, and then the most unsuspecting killer,
Yes, yeah, and in the most unsuspecting time, absolutely, yeah. And playing off that a little bit, I really like the aesthetic. Like, I think that's why Joelle Jones wanted to set this when she did, because that again is that fantasy world that was more or less achievable back then for a lot of people, and for women especially, you have to keep up that appearance, right? You have to be perfect all the time whenever you're out, even when you're not. Like the way that she dresses in the house, it's like why would anyone dress that way in their own home, like wearing the dresses and the high heels? And I also love that she's prepared no matter what happens to them, because she's probably like, well, I'm a killer and I get, things get rough. Like one of the weirdest scenes that I just really enjoy is she's attacked by Peck after kind of screwing up an assassination attempt, and he shoots the heel off one of her shoes, just one. And so she goes through all this stuff to get back home, and she's like, well, I gotta take the girls to ballet, still keeping up the facade. But then she still takes a moment to reach into a cabinet
shoe
and get one shoe. She has one shoe just ready to go that matches the other one that she still has. And it's like, I guess that was like, even for women back then that weren't contract killers, you probably did have the same pair of shoes ready to go just in case, because you had to do it. Because as a woman back then, especially, I imagine you're treated more as an object for the man, and you have to make the man look good, because if not, like, you've let him down, you've let the family down.
Well, it's the same thing with like Gene. He's like, she's going to all these bake sales, and I'm using air quotes, and all these like different like
we can hear in the microphone.
Yeah.
Using air quotes, all right.
and like all these different random things that like all these charities and stuff like that she's helping out with. And then he's like, I'm just happy you're getting out of the house, hun. Like, you're just always cooped up in here all the time.
Yeah. And what I like about that kind of dynamic that they have is, one, it makes me question why someone like as smart as she is, would fall for a dummy like this, because he's just so oblivious to everything. But it also makes it easier for me to believe that she could get away with this double life, because like no one's suspecting her, not even the man that spends every day with her and, you know, supposedly loves her. It's just like, you don't have any idea who your wife actually is. And like in that era, like it makes sense in the context of the story.
Well, that was like one of the funniest parts you were talking about, where they said she messed up what's it called, the murder or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, I gotta get out of here for the ballet, and she was like, my car's over yonder way
In the shop
or
whatever. Yeah.
Can I use your truck? And he's like, just be careful with the clutch.
Yeah.
And then she like burns out like the driveway and like just like swerves after what's his name, Peck.
Yeah.
She like burns out quick, and he's like, I told her to be careful.
Yeah. And he probably didn't even know that she could do that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And then the little girls in the back, while that car chase is going on, they're like, "Wow, Daddy has only driven like this like once. Whenever that happened, or
From
whatever."
the barbecue or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah. It was like
Yeah,
when he had a
yeah.
couple too many drinks
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that.
And she's like, "Remember, girls, this stays between us."
Really good representation of really annoying twins, by the way.
Oh my gosh, the words.
The combined speech bubbles.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
I couldn't even read it. I'm like, I hate this so much.
I probably spent at least 30 seconds on each bubble,
Yeah.
trying to figure out what it said.
Exactly, because I'm like, well, maybe there's like every other word is the other twin, but I'm like, no, it still doesn't add up right. Like it's absolute lunacy, and that also kind of adds to Josie's character, where it's like she's basically like on the run because people are trying to kill her. She's trying to keep this life a secret, and she has to take these girls to ballet, and she's so calm the entire time. There's not a moment in this book, I think, where she kind of loses her composure. She might get kind of thrown off a bit or just have like second thoughts, but you never see that facade of perfect housewife drop, like even when she is killing. And I just think it's that subtle stuff that's done, and that's what I really like about the art side of comics, is like you can do that. You don't have to say it, you can just show it. My other question for you, Aaron, was because Michael and you mentioned you were a crime junkie. Well,
Can I hop in one time before, if you got it?
yeah, I mean, you have
written
to
down?
stand up and hop though.
I was just gonna say, you know, like she keeps her composure so well. I wonder if like she has a fancy drink that she likes to
Maybe she's throwing a
like
few
sip
back.
on, yeah, to like, you know, keep it cool a little bit.
We've all been there, haven't we? We're
Yeah.
there right now, if that's
Yeah.
what you're going for.
That's what I'm going for.
I'm so cool right now.
I like to segue a little bit.
Well, Higgins, I mean,
Hop on the segue.
we've been talking a lot, and we're not the only ones drinking, so I think it's only fair that Erin tell us about the drink that she's drinking.
She was the one that picked it,
Yeah.
so
Well, not the one that she's drinking.
No, I want Erin to tell us about the non-alcoholic drink that she's drinking and the drink that she picked.
Yeah, of
I don't know,
course.
Jared. What's in this? Mango juice and some seltzer water
mango juice,
Pineapple.
pineapple juice, and
Club
club
soda.
soda.
and club soda. Yeah, it's real exciting over here. I can't wait to have a margarita in about a month. But the drink that you all are drinking is called the Lady Killer.
Did you use Google? Did you type in "lady killer cocktail"?
I did.
She's been
No
listening
originality.
to the podcast.
Just a woman after
She's
your own
been,
heart.
I know
isn't
she's been listening to the podcast. She knows how I do my work.
So
how you do your best work.
That's how you know.
So it's kind of a little tropical thing. It's gin, Cointreau, apricot brandy, passion fruit juice, which we sub for mango juice, and pineapple juice.
Yeah, so
And
I'm
apparently it's very dangerous, so it might be good that I wasn't involved in that, because
It can
I'd
sneak up
probably
on
be
you.
on the table by now.
I mean, that being said, it'd be the least dangerous for you since we are at your house and you don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna say we have. It says Cointreau or however you say that. I got triple sec. They basically just said it was online. Just said that was triple sec, but from France. And the bottle of Cointreau at the liquor store was like $40, and the bottle of triple sec was like $10, and it was a lot more. So I got that.
All right. Fair
And
enough.
then I also got apricot cognac instead of apricot brandy, which ended up being, that was the hardest part. I spent like 5 minutes in the liquor store trying to decide what we wanted to do for that, because they didn't have apricot brandy. They had peach brandy and all other
apple and
But,
cinnamon
all-
and mango.
Like all of them except for one.
They really weren't thinking about you.
And I was
when you
saying
went to go get this
apricot,
drink,
and
yeah.
then Bethany said it's actually apricot, and I was like,
So you spent 20 minutes
I just-
arguing about
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's why you were late to,
Yeah.
to hear. Yeah. Bethany,
9 minutes, dude.
Bethany, what are you thinking? What do you like, dislike about this drink?
I am absolutely feeling it. It is absolutely dangerous, and I'm on my second one, and I should definitely not have done the second.
But you have.
Yeah,
But
you
I have.
She
And
specifically told me not to give her a second one, and then she asked for a second one, and who am I to tell someone no?
You could have
Actually,
made her cry.
that's not how it went. Snoop said, if you're going to get a second one, you have to finish the drink. And so I finished the drink
It's true. I did say
in like
that.
one big gulp.
You did.
Yeah.
That's what did it. That's what did it.
It's what gets you every time. That's what got me last time. That ice cream and that alcohol. Yeah.
I'm
This
not
one
gonna lie.
could get me easily. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel fine, but it's called a lady killer, so maybe it's just hitting her harder.
I mean, it helps you're an alcoholic too. But yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah. I like it.
Aaron,
It's
we need to make a list. You know?
I think it's good. It's very, very sweet. I'm not a
Sweet.
like. I don't love sweets in my alcohol. I did love that ice cream one, but that's mostly just because I love ice cream.
You like a cream-based liquor?
I mean, unlike our friend
Right.
Andy, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
We have
know,
to
it's
mention
interesting
Andy.
when you're pregnant. The bartender doesn't offer you a refill.
That is interesting. I
Oh
can't wait
my
to experience
gosh.
that.
I can give you one.
I feel like that's the cue for refills all around.
I can get you
Also,
and
I do
Michael
have
one.
to take a Higgins.
Yeah.
Bethany has to take Higgins.
I have to take a Higgins.
I don't know if we've talked about that. Higgins basically, if you have to take a Higgins, it basically just means you need to go pee.
Yeah.
We do
So-
have a word for number 2, but we won't call him out.
Hi, Mr. Newman.
Michael, please, you need to raise your hand when you're in the classroom.
I'm sorry.
He's just our favorite history teacher, you know.
I mean, this is kind of exciting. I never really have this many people to record with, so while they're doing their things that they do, I'll just ask you more questions, Aaron.
Yeah,
Okay.
you stopped at one question. You said you
Yeah,
had two,
yeah. So my
let's
second
keep going.
question was going to be, you're a crime junkie, so that was kind of why you picked this book. Well, I imagine with crime, just watching a lot of crime stuff, listening to it, whatever. There's certain kind of tropes and also new things that can pop up that you're like, oh, I like that or I don't like that. Did anything in this kind of either stand out or you're like, they did a good version of this particular trope that I see in a lot of crime movies?
I think a
whatever?
lot of people have tried to take this approach with having kind of like a strong female lead be the killer, and I think this adaptation was really nice because you have, like you said, all the details that you need at the right time. You know just enough about her to appreciate the story. And for me, at least, just being able for it to be a relatable content, you know, her being a woman with kids and the everyday life and having a job and all this kind of stuff, like, you know, that's not the typical storyline. And so I really liked that. I think I could connect with it because it was relatable.
Yeah, and that's cool because, like, honestly was gonna ask you about the kids thing and like just that life, because
I honestly don't know how she has time for it. Number one.
she's doing a lot, isn't she? Yeah. It's
Yeah.
But I like, they even kind of work that into it. Like they think about it. You know, it's good writing when they kind of think about the questions that you're gonna have while reading it. So like that, for instance, is like, well, how does she have time to go kill someone across the town or whatever? She makes the time. When she gets a call from Peck, it's like, hey, I need you to go kill this guy right now. And she's like, oh, like, we're at dinner time. I'll do it at 11. And it kind of leads into the reason they want to kill her later on, is because they're like, we're sick of you putting your family first instead of like doing what we want, kind of thing. But I like just to have that little detail in there, because it's like, oh, that's how she does it. She's good at what she does. He even mentions she's one of the best female operatives that he has. And so she's able to kind of make those requests, and she's going to, because her family does come first. I like that this character, while she clearly does love her job, and that might be just for the simple reason of it makes her feel powerful. It's like, I'm good at this. This is my thing. I'm not just a housewife. I'm Josie, like a contract killer. But she does put her family first, and she is so good at this job that she kind of goes, I'll meet this guy. I'll meet my boss at 3. not 6. And that is interesting because it's a strong female character and it's not forced. I feel like in my experience with certain things, like bad versions of that, where it's like we want a strong female lead who does this thing that we're not used to seeing a female lead do. Like it can sometimes feel forced depending on the writing. I think this is subtle enough and it's clever enough where you believe that this is how this character operates, and everyone puts up with it because she can back it up. Like I mentioned that it's like none of them are idiots. I don't think they're the most competent people, and I think there's a point to that, but she's the main character because she is the most competent. She's able to keep a cool head in any situation, and that's why by the end of that, she's one of the few characters that makes it out at the end. She goes through a kind of a series of different events where she teams up with another female contract killer. She loses her head because she wants to kill the Peck guy, the James Bond guy, and she gets killed. And then the boss of the whole organization dies as well. So at the end, it's just her and then this very strange old man they throw in towards the end of it. So yeah, I really enjoy that aspect as well, and I completely agree with that. Was there anything that you wish they had kind of, and this is Bethany's back too, was there anything that you guys kind of you ladies had wished they had done a little better, or if there's something like, I didn't really love this aspect of it as much?
I honestly would like more talks between Peck and her, because I really feel like that's when she can really be herself and like her sassy self, like I just really wanted a little bit more sarcasm and kind of joking around with him.
More of a rapport, yeah.
Yeah, on one side I feel like her family life is kind of like a front. And then on the other side, you see her struggle in that one failed killing. And there was a reason why.
With a kid?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so you saw that emotional side of her. But then I feel like you don't really see that emotional side towards like her family and Jean as much as well. So yeah. I felt like there could have been a little bit more conversations and emotion to be shown.
Yeah.
And maybe that's coming in volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of the at-home
read.
life was a lot of just her gaslighting her mother-in-law about what she was and wasn't doing. And so that took up a majority of it. But I agree. If we would have gotten more conversation with the handler, we might have known a little bit more about her history and what was her motivation to get into this line of business and why she enjoys it so much. Is it just kind of a way for her to express herself outside of her family because that's what was expected of her, and maybe that's not what she wanted?
Yeah.
So that's
or maybe it was just all of her frustration from keeping like the family life intact.
Yeah.
And all of that pressure on being perfect, the perfect housewife, keeping everything clean. Her mother-in-law was like getting on to her about, the 3 meals not being ready on time, and everything was overcooked and everything.
Yeah.
And so like there's only so much pressure a person can take. And I feel like this work, even though she had started way earlier, was a good way to get that anger and pressure off of her. And also, I want to know her workout routine because she is jacked.
She's fit, yeah. She's looking good.
God,
you mentioned her in that kitty cat outfit or whatever. Yeah,
I about fell in love.
The art in this is stellar. I've read a little bit of the Catwoman stuff that Joelle Jones has done, and she writes and does the art on that, and it's basically the same. It's just I don't know. I don't know what is that she's doing that just works so well, but it's pretty. Everything is pretty.
Yeah.
She's got the really black blacks that really make a comic book page pop.
Yeah.
It's like elegant and sexy and colorful all in one.
Yes. Well,
it's just fantastic.
Yeah. Talking about the colors, Laura Allred, I feel like she may have even done the Catwoman stuff. One thing that stands out to me on every page that Josie's on is the eyes. It's always the eyes. I'm like, you get drawn in.
Or the red lipstick.
Or the red lipstick, yeah. And
Powerful.
it's powerful. It's gorgeous art. Like, it draws you into that character whenever she is on a panel. Like, no matter if it's just, there's a couple panels where I think they have like a house party, because that's what rich suburban white people did back then.
Yeah, of course.
And there's a bunch of other people in that panel, but you instantly go to her. Whatever it is she's doing, like, you're drawn to this character.
She's hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, and it's weird because she's hiding in plain sight, hiding who she is and what she's doing, but also she stands out more
Still
than
the star of
anybody
the
else.
show.
Yeah, it's a great pairing. And like I said, Joelle Jones, her art is just, I don't know if it's to do with like the line work or whatever it is. It's just she knows exactly what to do to draw your eye in. And
it's definitely like a focus thing. You know how a camera can go into focus on one thing and everything else is kind of blurry in the background. And that's exactly what this is. And to be able to draw that and make the colors pop on that is just a amazing pairing.
And I also like that she can kind of go the opposite way with it to make us feel different things about other things going on or other characters involved. Like the character of Peck, also a pretty man, and so you kind of want to trust him because he looks like James Bond. He looks kind of like Archer, as Michael and I were talking about earlier.
Kind of looks
It's
exactly
the
like
hair. He's
Sterling
got
Archer.
something going on with the hair.
But there's something about
he's a little slimy.
Yeah,
but
there's something about a perfect and put together pretty man that's just so off-putting.
He kind of looks
And
like
that just distrust immediately.
Luckily, Higgins and Michael and I are nowhere near that. So
he kind of looks like
Yeah,
a young.
You guys are Allens.
What's who's Ash
I'd
from
say that's
the
a
Evil Dead?
compliment. What were you saying?
should.
He kind of looks like a young Bruce Campbell.
Young Bruce Campbell. Okay, I can see that.
That's what his face shape looks like to me.
One thing they do with him is he kind of does a heel turn. You know, it's like he's an ass the whole time. He's constantly flirting with her, kind of like trying to. It almost seems like he kind of wants to ruin her double life, so she'll have to leave it behind and then eventually end up with him. That's what the vibe I get from him.
But just for a night though, not like long term.
But I feel like he's been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Like he's calling the house. He's calling the house phone, which of course he would because they don't have cell phones. But also he knows when he's calling. You know, it's like it's dinner time. He knows exactly what he's doing,
Or he just shows up.
Or he just shows up.
Yeah, what's up with that? He's like, oh, I'm a plumber.
Yeah, he brought
He's in a suit and has a
wrench.
giant wrench.
It's like, I think it's just a control thing because she's so like, I'm going to call you on your shit and, you know, you're not going to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
When he had the big business meeting with the big guy.
Stenholm?
When he had that meeting, am I mistaken in thinking that he was the one who found her?
Yes.
And nurtured her to be like where she was?
I believe that is
He's like her handler?
Like I believe if anything, they were operatives around the same time, and then he maybe took over from another dude. It's not exactly said, but he's been around a while as far as his connection with her. And so, he's her handler as of this point. And with the art, one thing Joelle Jones does do is everything is really pretty unless it doesn't need to be. So you have the character of like Stenholm, who he's the boss, and he's just off-putting. Like there's just something about him.
He's got jowls. His suit's tan.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like a bulldog.
A little bit. He's very aggressive as a bulldog would be as well. Yeah. She just has such a good handle on carrying the story and making you feel certain ways when you need to feel it, depending on who the focus is on.
Also, I want to say that I do not believe people are dead until there is a funeral.
Yeah.
Until there is an actual dead body, I do not believe people are dead.
Yeah, if they don't die on screen, if they don't die on screen, then they're not dead.
I have a feeling that some people are going to survive. And I'm trying not to spoil for all of the listeners out there.
People don't read this; they just like to listen to us.
We always
talk
assume
about it.
We always assume that everybody's read it beforehand.
Okay, so
you listen. Have you ever read anything that we've talked about?
I read Friday.
Oh, if are you gonna say you read Firefly? I was like, well, you were on that episode. But yes, you have read Friday.
That's why that's why we say the comic at the end, so people have the chance to read
Okay, so
it.
the big man and Peck, I do not believe that they are actually dead. I believe that they are going to survive at some, like Peck. I mean, he got stabbed a lot of times.
I'm talking about Stenholm. His like intestines are out.
Oh, maybe I didn't see that.
I think he's definitively dead.
His Stenholm like is like
But
stabbed to the
Peck,
thing, and his
though.
intestines are out.
He got shot in the head, but that doesn't
got
necessarily
shot
mean
in the
anything.
face.
Get shot in the face.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything, but yes, I see what
You
you're
can
saying.
still lose an eye and still be alive.
He did get a glance.
It's good to know. It's good to know.
But you were talking about the stuff that you didn't like
Yeah.
way earlier.
Or it's just
with Aaron, and I wanted to.
Oh, you
say
had
it.
something.
I had
Oh,
something.
sorry, he had an opinion.
Yeah, and like I know we have 5 people on there, but I mean, like I want to get it all out there. We haven't talked about it specifically yet.
This is so typical of you.
It feels these 5 issues feel like a 2-part like pilot episode, like a 2-hour pilot episode
that you see on the ABC.
Yeah, and that like sets you up for a much longer running show. That's the part. That's like the only part I didn't like about it.
Really? Okay.
Is like they ran us through all these plot points.
It's a bit of
like,
a sprint. Yeah.
through like the entire time, and it's like I'm here. It's like I saw her do a murder. I know she's a killer now, and now like I'm not feeling very comfortable doing this killing because it's a kid, and now they're trying to kill me, and I gotta help get this other gal to help me, and now I killed the guys, and it's like that happened in like the 30 minutes that I read it.
I kind of loved that aspect of it though. Like there was something going on every single frame.
It never, pacing.
It never
is
slowed
tight.
down. It never really fully explained anything, which was great for me because I'm kind of like one of those people who, fill in the blanks where there is blanks.
Yeah.
And it's just how my mind works. And so that's why I absolutely loved that part of it, was because all the action and everything was in every single page.
The only part that I didn't like about it is that like she's obviously like really good at her job. She kills the people really well. Like she has one hiccup that we know of, and now they're like, time to murder her.
I think she is good at her
And that's
job.
the part that like got me. It's like on the page we didn't get a big enough payoff for us to assume that she's gonna get killed now because she's not dedicated to her job anymore, even though she did everything but kill an 8-year-old.
I don't know that that's the whole thing, because she has been in the business for a very long time.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And so like it is probable that there has been that issue in the past.
I mean, we can
But
assume.
maybe it was the same situation in the past and she was able to do it because she didn't have kids. Maybe that is the connection that we're missing and might become later.
Well, yeah,
I
I know. It's like yeah, show don't tell in comics and stuff like that.
I hate it when couples fight.
My only gripe was like that we didn't get to see more of it. Is basically what I'm saying. Like we had 5 issues and it went really fast, and I didn't feel like me as the reader got to see the full progression. And I'm saying I would have liked to see the full progression.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm mad that that's how fast it happened. It's like I wish Joel Jones could have given me like Lady Killer origins or something like that.
I see.
That showed me how they got to that point.
I do understand kind of, because there are a lot of questions, not so much about where we could go with this. It's pretty much definitively said, oh, I'm going to go into the business as, my own employee, basically. That's the setup for what I assume is going to be in Lady Killer 2 or whatever it's called. You're right. There are a lot of questions by the end of like, well, how did we get here? I do and I don't like that. Yes, I do want to know more because, of course, I want to know more. I'm curious, and this grabbed my attention. I think it's not necessarily a bad thing, though, to kind of have you ask those questions by the end and not have answers. Because the questions you have at the end don't necessarily matter to the plot that you're reading, right? It's like,
well, yeah.
I know there's more to this. I know that she had to do A, B to get to C where we're at. So where is that? Like, you do want to know. But it was like I mentioned earlier, that's not how stuff was done back in the day as well. Like, you jumped in on a story. I mean, you think about it, like, I got Michael here, so he'll probably like this. Star Wars is the perfect example for this. When we started with Star Wars
Star
way
Wars
back in
is never the
77,
perfect example.
when we started with Star Wars back in 77, it was one movie. We didn't know if we were going to get a sequel, and we jump in past episodes 1 to 3. We have those answers now, but back then people didn't. And it's the biggest franchise in the world. And
I mean, if
think
we
there's
did have those answers now, then we would have known that Luke like almost had sex with his sister, though.
that is important to know.
Oh
You
my
don't want
God.
to forget that. But I mean,
Spoiler.
think about it.
If anybody
If you,
has never seen Star Wars.
I don't think we can spoil Star Wars at this point.
there's got to be one person out there who has no idea what we're talking
What
about.
do you mean?
Oh man!
And if you are that person, email in.
Yeah, I would love that. But it's like I think part of what made Star Wars such a hit at the time is you just go in, you know, what's happening in the context of the story that you're watching, and it just makes you go, well, what am I missing? Like there's a hook there. And I think there's the same with her past to this. As far as the conversation goes with, well, why did they turn on her like this? I think it doesn't even come down to there's a problem in the organization.
No, I think it's just I mean I get it. It's easy for them to turn on their agents. They get the job. Oh wait. No, it's okay. It's for sound purposes. For
Ruining
Snoop.
my audio quality.
Oh, we tried to be quiet.
No, you're fine. I don't care.
I really want to be
Get some Zaw. I'll leave some of this in.
No, but yeah, it's makes sense. I mean, like,
Well,
they're a secret organization. They're killing people. They obviously don't have a problem with that. Honestly, probably they're probably it's not just her they're killing. Like, there's probably like guys, girls, all of their agents. Like, they're probably very quick to cut someone off because they've always got someone else that can do the job that they're doing. Technically, someone might not be as good at it, which is why I'm confused why they're going for her, because she is so good at it.
I think it's because she's, you know, a lot of other agents don't have what she has to consider in the background, and because she's a liability at that point, because she's a human and she's going to experience emotions because she has a family. They don't understand that aspect of her, I don't think.
that's where I was going to go with that. I think a lot of it comes down to they're petty. I think that they don't understand why would anything else be more important than this. And I think that they're mad because they're just like, you work for us. You're our, like, you do what we want you to do. And if you can't do that, then you go. Because it gets to the point where in the conversation between Peck and Stenholm, where Stenholm's like, hey, I looked into her. She's been doing this for 15 years. Most of them move into like different, I guess, like managerial positions where we can keep a closer eye on them. So there's two things with that. One, she's not doing that. So she is, like Aaron said, a liability because it could come back to them. But I think the main reason is what could be more important than us? I think it's just that they're like, no. This is what you do. If you want to have a family, it's because we want you to have a family. Because even Peck kind of fights for her a little bit in that one conversation where he's like, hey, if you don't want her anymore, if it's really that, you know, big of a risk or whatever it is, just let her go be with her family. And I don't think that would have worked anyway because of, again, she wants to do this job. So she probably would have turned on him regardless and killed him anyway. But it's just this one guy who's like, I can't control her, and that bothers me, and so I'm just going to get rid of her. And I found that really interesting because why would you waste the potential of an agent like that who wants to do this job and is pretty good at this job, but also, like, if that's your mentality, why are you the one in charge? So that's kind of how I read it, and that's what I like about the way that this plot kind of it's very organic in kind of how events unfold. It's very reactionary. It's just people going like, well, this is happening and I don't like this, so I'm just gonna do this. Like there's not a. It's amazing to me that this organization is even around and as secret as it is when people like Peck and Stenholm are the ones running it because they're not intelligent. Like. I think that it's just like middle management, you know, bullshit that they just kind of fell up the ladder and then they're where they're at. And then because they get to make the shots, they ended up getting themselves killed. Because if they had left her alone, if they had just let her decide, hey, dinner's at 6, I'm going to kill at 11. They probably could have done this for 10 more years and everything would have been fine.
Yeah, it probably would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they know what she's capable of, so I don't know why they even crossed her like that.
I would have just liked the 30-minute, like, Samurai Jack origin story episode.
Yeah.
Where we jump through the years, like, every 5 to 10. You see her training.
I can't give you that, but what I can give you is that Samurai Jack sound, at the end of the theme song.
Yeah?
I'll put it in this episode.
Oh, right here?
Yeah, right
here. Here.
Yeah. I'll find that.
All right.
Okay. But I think it's all well thought out. I think the writing is not like anything mind blowing to me. I've kind of, it's just, it knows what the story knows what it wants to do. It just wants to be a fun little throwback to like some 60s spy stuff and just some sort of gruesome murder. My one complaint, and this is only because Higgins got the big book with all the stories in it, so I kind of did a little sneak peek into what's to come. It's a little toothless, if I'm honest. In the second one, there's a lot more going on as far as like the visuals and like the violence and the sexual graphicness. But in this one, it's like we see a woman get stabbed pretty good at one point. But
is it the sexual graphicness that's holding you back?
I really
if anything,
feel like
it's the only thing keeping me going.
I really feel like that kitty suit, really kind of tied it all together for me, though. It was just kind of like just enough for a
teaser.
first volume.
It was a tease.
But then it was just kind of like, all right, now we can go balls to the wall.
I think what Snoop's trying to say is there's just nothing really he can hold on to in this first episode.
Are you kidding me? The cleavage, the kitty suit, the red, the
Yeah, but
lipstick, the rippling muscles.
But the first page we turned to,
guys, I think we should leave the room for
The first
Bethany. Give her a moment alone.
the first
You can
page
just
we
leave the book
turned
with
to
me.
was like I had tassels, so like he was like I was expecting, just naked ladies doing murder,
I understand.
and all he got was like scantily clad ladies doing murder.
I don't think that's fair though, because you're
But the
you're
eyes.
sneaking ahead.
That's true. That's
And then,
a bit on me.
yeah. And then
And
you're
there's,
saying, oh, well,
like-
now because I've read the second one that came after.
No, we didn't
now
read it.
this
We just
first
saw
one
one.
is not
We didn't read
not
it. We just
enough.
saw one picture, Michael. We don't do that much.
Oh, okay.
We
Yeah,
don't
he
do
just
that
did a
much
flip,
work.
and he just coincidentally knew what page it was on.
Yeah, yeah.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yeah, yeah.
He has that page marked.
Yeah.
123. Panel 4. For research purposes. No, I
He really enjoyed the art, guys.
I was a little surprised though, because I thought part of the twist or whatever was going to be like, oh, this is the 60s where it was like super subtle, like, or not. Sorry, I thought the twist was going to be it's the 60s. It's it's still kind of like it's clean, like no one's cursing. They're saying darn it, but also like behind closed doors, like there's some weird shit going on, and there wasn't really a ton of that.
Oh, you mean the one frame where they're in that one like apartment, two or three story house where there's the
Oh
dude getting
man,
like
and there's that guy getting
the guy
railed
getting
by
well,
that woman.
Yeah, he has like a collar on and he's naked
He's like
and
getting
she's like
choked
slapping
with
slapping
with
his
like
butt.
a ball gag or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
They don't even bring
The
that
redheaded
up.
girl?
It's just like
Yeah.
it's just in the
That's the
house.
one.
They don't even like talk to him. They're
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
I guess this is happening in here.
Yeah, and I get like
It's pretty good.
it's good. I think that's probably one of my favorite pages in the entire
they
book,
do-
just because of how it's laid out in the panels and everything.
And
yeah.
like in the future, like one page after, they do put a clip of her being like, "What was that sound?"
Yeah, it's like
It
a
was like that guy
top-down-
getting shot.
Yeah.
It's like this two couple getting shot, and then that girl is just like, "What was that sound? What was that noise?" And she's just like from up top, and you're like, "Who is that chick?" And then you go back, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that was that girl that was choking that guy with the ball gag in his mouth."
dominating that man. Yeah,
Yeah, it was fantastic.
In the
And she was
60s,
probably
no
getting
less.
good money for it too.
She's probably getting like $5 an hour, which back then was some much more money than it probably is now.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
inflation and all that.
And I guess like that scene kind of brings my favorite character into the game, old Reinhardt.
Irving?
The old dude,
Was it Irving?
Reinhardt.
Reinhardt?
they
Yeah.
call him Reinhardt, yeah, which I think is his real name. Everyone's got like aliases and whatever.
Right.
But yeah, Reinhardt's
He's just this old man, and he's like
I
all
thought
like
so.
rink-a-dink, and I was like, which one of these people is going to be a murderer? Because I knew one of those three people was going to be a murderer.
Yeah.
I just didn't know which one it was.
Turns out it's the old dude.
Turn it
with
was
the
down
cane.
to the old dude with a cane,
Who may
and you're
not
like,
need the cane?
no, I don't think he needs the cane at
think he
all.
needs the
I think
cane.
he looked pretty beefy, and
Yeah,
when
he
he
didn't
killed
have
that
it in the
dude,
other
That's definitely a Kingsman cane. There's something.
There's an umbrella in there that can chop your head off. Yeah.
and then like somehow,
Probably a life
like her
insurance.
her mother-in-law knew who he was, and that's the part that I really want to know about.
What I like about that reveal is that gives the mother-in-law and Josie a reason to connect. And I would honestly, I don't know what Lady Killer 2 entails except for page 123, panel 4.
It's in 1963.
But I would love a team up between that cranky old German lady and Josie. I think that would be super fun. Even if she's not like I don't think she's going to be like kicking dudes to death or whatever, doing any flips, but
kind of like a secretary from like Monsters Inc. kind of thing, where she's a little angry at her, but like
she does look like that secretary.
She looks exactly like that secretary.
She didn't file her paperwork.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just love a little adventure between the two of them, because clearly, like, they set up, hey, I know you're up to something. I didn't know what, but now I know it involves this guy who's bad news. And so that gives you two thoughts. Like, one, what's going on with this old dude? Because we saw him in action one time. He pulled out a gun and he shot that couple. But there's a scene later on where Stenhold is left alive. He's got a knife in his hand. It can't feel great. But then they cut back to him and he's got like 10 more knives in him. And that dude clearly did it. But he just seems like this doddering old fool. So what's his deal?
Look, what I got from, the grandma saying, the mother-in-law, I call her grandma because I envision myself as one of those kids. But
I thought you were going to say envision yourself as a German grandma, but
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we all are on the inside,
But I envisioned her as saying like, oh man, that man, we had a love fling. Back in the war, we were on opposite sides or something like that, like kind of some sort of like love interest, Romeo and Juliet type thing. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, because for me, that would be the only reason that she would follow him into that situation, is because she actually cared for him.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm feeling from that whole situation, is because she cared enough about that man, recognized that man, to rekindle some sort of old love or something. And then she saw Josie and she was like, oh, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And that man was in the war. And I was like, there's something more to that story and I want to know.
And I hope we'll get at least a little more with it. I don't know a lot about the second miniseries. I know that they move to Los Angeles or something.
Some kind of beach.
Cocoa Beach.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Cocoa Beach. So I would be surprised if they don't bring a little bit of that back, because there's something with that dude in his past, and those two, it's just like
he's you find out pretty quickly in the second volume what's going on with him.
Oh, you've read ahead, huh?
Some future reading. Wow. Overachiever over here.
Ridiculous.
See, now that ruins it all for me. Now I can't read the second one.
Thanks, Aaron.
Done goofed.
You're good. Yeah, it's just, I think it's a lot of fun. I wasn't like blown away or surprised necessarily, and I wouldn't even say it's perfect at what it does, but it just has fun doing it. And paired with the awesome visuals and the really great writing for the character of Josie in particular, like, if I had one complaint and one thing I'd hope to see in the sequel, I would like a little bit more with the supporting characters. Like, the character of Jean and the twins is basically just to show, oh, she's got a family that she cares about. But I don't know why she would care about them. Like, other than the fact it's a cover, but it's clearly more than that, because, as we talked about, she pushes the job aside to put them first. So she clearly has like some kind of attachment to this family. And I just don't really see that. And I'm not even saying I have to see that with Jean, but give me something with the mother-in-law. I think that would be super fun to just kind of, because they already don't really like each other anyway, not to speak in Aaron's case, but like, I don't know how mother-in-laws and I don't know how that works. Do you like your mother-in-law? She'll never listen to this.
I like my mother-in-law.
Wait, Michael, leave the room.
She actually does listen to this.
Does she really?
Yes.
Yeah, I do like my mother-in-law.
Okay, good. Well, then I'll keep this in.
Actually, yeah.
I like
Michael,
you too,
get your
Michael's
hand off
mother.
Of Aaron's leg.
Well, I almost called. I like you too, Aaron's mother-in-law. But yeah, it's just I want to see something with that, and I would like to see more with the character of Reinhardt, because something's going on with that guy. I don't think that they would bring that guy in last second like they did and not want to use him in a second volume. And I don't really know, as far as I understand it, Lady Killer 2 is like all that's left at this point. I don't know if that's the definitive end, but I haven't heard any rumblings of there being a Lady Killer 3. So I hope we get that in there, and I definitely want to go over that second volume sooner rather than later, because I had a good time with this. Dark Horse has some real hits, and I think this is one of them. Unless you ladies and Higgins and Michael want to talk about anything else, I think we're good to give this book a rating, maybe go into one more segment, and then I can eventually get some pizza, because I'm looking at it.
Oh yeah, you've seen me take a piece.
And I didn't like it, mostly because like I wasn't the one taking that piece. But yeah,
Sorry.
anything else that anyone wants to say, please. He's leaning into the microphone.
It was killer.
Is that your rating?
No, I have a much better one. Oh, does that mean I get to go first?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Please, ladies first.
So I am going to say 4 butcher knives and 1 butter knife.
It's kind of like 4.5 out of 5. I'm assuming. Could have been out of 10, I
Yeah.
guess.
Whatever floats your goat, I guess.
Whatever floats your
Aaron,
boat.
what floats your goat?
What are we rating it out of? Like 5 or 10?
That doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
This is literally whatever
Have you ever
want to
listened
say.
to this
It's
podcast?
kind of like whose line are you anyway?
Someone's really showing their viewership right
Pregnancy
now.
brain. Pregnancy brain.
How dare you blame your unborn child for you not knowing how
But
this
yeah,
works?
it's okay.
Yeah,
it's
that's
okay.
fine. I don't care.
She has 1 more kid before she becomes a lady killer.
We've had 2 drinks, but her brain's probably a little more messed up than ours, right?
I mean,
Absolutely.
she's almost 9 months pregnant.
Babies
It's
do
pride.
crazy things.
I'm just going to go classic. I'll give it a 4.7 out of 5.
Wow.
Controversial, but I like it. So Higgins, what would you rate this?
I'm going.
Don't think too hard. You know what happened last time.
I think I'm gonna give it like an 8-year-old kid murder. It's like I know it's the job, but I'm not happy about it. Kind of like a 6.5, you know?
But you got a job to do. And
Yeah.
that kid needs to be murdered. Why did that kid need to be murdered? What did he say?
love
His backstory.
His parents got murdered by
murdered.
one of their people, and then he saw them do it, so he had to be murdered so they didn't get. Like,
He was a
caught.
witness.
Yeah,
That was
Makes
an
sense to me.
unexpected
tying up
rating.
loose threads.
I know.
Kind of a last second thought. How did she not know that that kid's parents were already dead? Because that was her excuse. She's like, I'm here to pick up something from your mom.
No. She said she said something about the uncle who was pulling in the driveway or something.
No, she's like, hey, I came to get this thing from your mom. I let her borrow. And he's like, no, because my mom's been dead, and
Yeah,
you're
that's
here
how
to
he
kill me.
knew.
I think they might have just left that off the dossier.
Yeah, I mean, she's got stuff going on. But
That's true.
all right, well, I'm gonna rate this 1 annoying twin out of 2.
There you go. That's
Yeah,
a 5.
it's easily Higgins. Everybody gets that.
And Michael, how would you want to rate us? I know you didn't read the book.
Oh man.
I'll give y'all 2
Remembering.
kitty suits out of 3.
That means he'd smash us,
Ooh.
Higgins.
Damn.
With or without the tail?
Oh, I'll give
That's
you.
a-
Or the or
I'll
the
give
ears?
you ears and tails.
2 out of
Ears
3
and
is
tails?
Michael, I'm sorry, but the tail's not on the menu.
Damn.
2 out of 3 is really close to 69%.
Talk about the eye contact.
Excellent. All right, well, good.
No. Readings for squares.
Damn it, you interrupted. I'm gonna get you one day. Son of a bitch.
Do you have anything?
I want to let the ladies talk about things they've been checking out.
All right.
Aaron, do you know what this is? What we're doing right now?
Do you know a segment
Yep.
where we talk about things
That was
we're not
confident.
reading?
So go ahead. No. We just talk about other stuff we're doing, but it's not books.
It's
So,
not books.
You've been
not
looking
even,
at anything?
Not even close to books.
Yeah, nursing textbooks. I started nursing school
No.
this week.
Ooh.
Wrong. Reading's not allowed.
I'm glad that you're pursuing a higher education, but get that shit out of here.
Readings for squares, Aaron.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Don't be a square. Be a circle and tell us about a different thing that you've been doing. You watch anything.
Hey, be around here.
Yeah, exactly. See, you're a
You know,
square
is it
because
not
you're not
enough
a.
that I'm growing a baby?
I mean,
Ooh.
you can tell us about that
Don't
if you
put us
want
in
to.
that position.
Yeah,
We don't want to answer
how's
that.
pregnancy
Just
treating
stop being
you?
disrespectful.
Tell us about pregnancy.
Yeah, tell us
you
about
might end up
pregnancy.
like the book if you keep going.
Well, y'all might put me into labor. You better
Hey,
chill
he's
out.
already on the list.
I mean, if we get on microphone, I'm fine with it.
Oh my god.
That's great content.
It's quality content.
What have we been watching?
What have you been watching?
Have you guys watched a movie together?
You guys do anything together?
Did you go to the theaters?
You see any of the?
I mean,
What's your favorite food?
We've watched a lot of Monsters Inc. and Incredibles, but that's mostly because of
so
Christian.
good.
No, we've been watching. What's that show called?
Which one?
On Amazon.
Oh, the Jesus, Special Operations Lioness or something like that.
Oh, the one with Zoe Saldana.
Yeah. So we've watched that, and it's pretty captivating.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, not a 10 out of 10 by any means. There's some things I'll pick at, but mostly because, well, yeah. Anyway, it's pretty good. It's enough for like when a new episode comes out that we sit down and watch it immediately.
I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, I was
Aaron,
gonna
can you
ask.
give me a quick summary?
Synopses?
What it's
Want me to
about?
do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the
Please.
You
You
are
are
the
the
star
guest.
guest.
I don't know to call her. I guess she's an operative who is.
She's special.
Yeah, she's a special operative, but
What's her code? What's her code name?
I'll give you a guess.
Linus?
Kitty.
Lioness.
but she doesn't wear the suit. No, but in the beginning, I think about that every time. She loses one of her.
Her cups.
Yeah, basically, she has to make a sacrifice, and that person dies on her watch, and so the show is basically her getting this new operative where she has to kind of look over her and think about her next move in the situation, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, the operative, their job is to infiltrate, terrorist organization, but not by joining the organization or getting close to the person that's the target. It's getting close to the person's significant other.
So they do it through relationships.
Yeah, so they get basically like in this case, they have a person that they're after. Person's engaged to a girl, and then the lioness' job is to get close to that girl.
Okay.
And then once they have eyes on the target, then they can either assassinate or call in a missile strike or whatever. It's just a way to see somebody come out of hiding, essentially, draw somebody out.
I see. Okay.
Basically the story is, they get a new one, they start training, and then you see a lot about the internal conflict of the lioness about like, am I really doing the right thing here? Because they get really close to the significant other and they actually become friends, and there's I don't know, just internal struggle there. And then Zoe has to kind of balance that in a family life, and it's just, there's a lot going on, but it's enough to keep us glued to the series.
Seems very on brand for what we've been talking
Yeah,
about today
exactly,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although her husband's not dumb, he's an oncologist, and he's very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but does he know that she's a lioness?
Yes, well, he kind of finds that out. I mean, he
damn, he
knows
is
what
smart,
she
isn't he?
does, but there's one occasion where he sees what she does on the news, and he's not very happy about it.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what news site he's watching.
It's an
think he thinks-
operation gone wrong.
She must be the cancer in this world, I guess, right?
No, Higgins,
But
she's
it's one of
only,
those things where, like,
Oncology
on the
joke.
surface, you know what the government's doing, and then you don't really know how they're doing it, and then they find out the how, and then nobody's happy. Kind of never mind.
Kind of like the aliens.
Yeah, we don't get to sit down and watch
Aliens?
a lot of TV together anymore, mostly because I go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night.
Good for you.
It's already 8:30. You've really
I've really outdone
you've really
myself
stretch
today.
yourself.
We're really
yeah.
proud of you, honestly.
That's right.
But,
Everyone clap for Aaron.
I think the next thing
Aaron,
we're going to be
please.
into is The Witcher.
Oh, you're gonna watch The Witcher.
Because we watched that
With
together.
Luke Hemsworth?
Yeah.
Or no, this is the last. This is the
Liam.
last.
This is the last
Henry
one with Henry
Cavill
Cavill.
ever.
Yeah.
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 But
Yeah, so
apparently
everybody's going to stop watching after that, right?
Absolutely.
they'll cancel it 100%.
No, absolutely.
I thought they already filmed it with him.
But I think the next in line is Witcher, and then some catching up on Star Wars.
Wow.
And I don't want to talk about it anymore, but me, Snoop, and Bethany have all been watching Suits, and Suits
We love it.
is
Some suits.
With
It's so-
Meghan Markle?
We love some Meghan Markle.
so much better than
Absolutely.
it. So much better than it should be, and
Everybody
Duchess,
watches Suits.
please.
I'm cutting us off, and we have an email, Snoop.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do you want to read it? Do
Actually, I
want
would
me
love you to read that
Do you want me to
because
read
that
it? I already
plays
have
into
it
my
picked
bit.
up. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to do your bit first? Or
No,
your bit second?
that is the bit. Please.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
okay.
don't read all of it. Just read the setup.
You want me to read the first paragraph?
Let me see. Just come
From
over here.
From Ethan?
Come over
Oh
here.
my
Let's
goodness.
let's have a powwow.
All right.
Take your headphones off.
All right.
I'm gonna have a hell of a time editing this.
I'm talking about the email from someone else, not.
You have another new email?
We have an email from.
No, that's the
Zach.
same email.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So here, read that. All right. So read
The top half.
read this part, and
All
then
right.
don't read anything after.
All right.
Thank you. Because, like I said, I put a lot of work into this important thing that we're about to do, and I don't want you to take that from me. if you
How
could.
dare you call an email worthless?
I'm just,
Yeah.
All right.
You should
So,
apologize.
I'll just
Right
edit in the
now.
word important. Hold on.
Long.
Hold on. Important. I'll edit that into where the word actually. And I'll leave this bit in so people know. All right. So Higgins, read the first half of that email.
All right. So this is a long-time listener, first-time emailer. His name's Ethan. I won't say his last name because I ain't trying to dox our listeners.
No. It's important that you say that last name.
All right, Ethan Miller.
Now, Higgins, that last name sounds familiar. Why is
Yeah.
that?
Oh, it's his brother is our only other emailer besides Brian.
Oh yeah, my boss Brian.
Yeah,
we're using his recorder right now.
Yeah,
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
but his brother's emailed in twice.
Zachary Miller. Yes.
So this is Ethan's email. He says, "Hey y'all, I got jealous because you kept mentioning my brother Zach so much that I decided to write my own email. I like your podcast. I'd rate it as a 3-ounce pour of your liquor of choice. It also occurred to me that I can basically make you say whatever I want through this email. So I'm going to push to see how much you'll be willing to say."
That's right. Now I called Michael about this email because we got it earlier about a week ago. I don't know when. And I asked him if he wanted to do a little game. So what we're going to do is I've taken all those things that Ethan wrote in that email.
Yeah.
And I've put them on
Pieces of paper?
various pieces of paper for both Michael and Aaron to read.
Oh.
Yes. Now I've arranged them. I just want to stress the amount of work I put into this for no reason. But basically what's going to happen is Michael and Aaron, back to back, they're going to go through, they're going to read these quotes that Ethan wrote. We've also tossed some of our own quotes in there, Higgins.
Oh, so they have to decide which ones were from him and which ones were
no.
from...
What they're going to do is they're going to see if they can get through all of them. If
Yeah.
they can, then they win. But if they can't
Without
get through
laughing?
all, if they refuse,
Oh, okay.
yeah, they can laugh. Higgins, we would never not let anyone laugh on this podcast. You know that. But if they say like, I will not say this. This is too scandalous.
All right.
This hurts my character.
Aaron is the lady killer.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
I'm gonna get on here and say I lick dog butt holes all day if I win
Oh
this
God,
game.
you'll have no problem. Just know that this reflects on Michael's business as well. So just.
Yeah, let's.
But if they can't do it, if one of them can't read every single one of these that I've prepared, Ethan's gonna get some sweet merch from
Oh,
008
yeah?
Studios.
Nice.
Yes. So I've got pieces of paper here. I'm gonna bring these over.
He gets a button no matter what, though, right?
That's not for me to decide.
All right.
Oh boy, here we go. Take your time.
Do you want me to
so
hold
ready.
him? Do you want me to
Are
hold
you
him?
shuffling?
This is for them, not you. Okay. All right.
I just was for you having a mic purposes.
This is for you. You're gonna pull from the top down.
Okay.
Okay. This is also for you.
Okay.
All right. So
Aaron goes first,
let me get back
obviously,
to my
right?
station real quick.
Hold him up for the class to see.
Yeah, because everybody can see.
All right.
They can hear.
The
you
air
know,
quotes.
The
I'm
air
about to do.
quotes.
That's right. All right. So
They
I've laid
can
them
see
out
with
from,
their ears. Okay?
I've laid them out for Michael and no peeking.
Okay,
Peeking.
I'm
You saw us
sorry.
go. All right. So the way I've set this up, I planned this out perfectly.
Is this gonna cause distress to our marriage? Can we
No,
start there?
I mean, if it does, it doesn't affect me in the slightest. So it's fine.
I guess that all depends on if you want to say it or not.
Aaron, we're gonna go every other one. So Aaron's gonna read one.
Okay.
Michael's gonna read one.
Poop.
Okay.
Fart.
Okay. And you can take time, commentate, whatever you want to do. I don't care.
I see you pee.
Oh boy. Cock.
OJ didn't do it.
I'm as happy as a clam on a log.
Ice cold chili dogs.
Ethan is our favorite Miller brother.
It's gonna hurt Zach's feelings.
Ooh.
You can cave at any point. I don't care.
You gonna let me be better
Put it
than
in
you?
quotes.
Just know that if either one of you caves, Ethan gets some sweet merch.
You can put it in quotes, you know?
Yeah. I
That's
didn't
a
say.
loophole.
I
I've
didn't
been
say
watching
this.
Suits.
Eat your pizza. Shush.
Bush did 9/11.
No, say that. Say a little
Bush
louder.
did 9/11. What?
What?
All right, everybody. This is going to be a new service, I guess, for my studio. But you guys feel free to subscribe to my OnlyFans. It's a page, and I'll suck on your big toe for only $5 a month.
I don't
Dang.
even get that service.
I really thought that
You
was
get it
going to
for
be
free.
about music.
Snoop and Higgins are super cool dudes. I wish they were my dads.
We could be your dads.
Okay. Ethan, you thought you were going to get me with this one. So I'm no longer reading the email from Ethan. I just wanted to be clear that the official position for Comixology Club and the extension 008 Studios is that OJ is innocent.
I can't believe. Can you believe it?
Wow,
That's
twice.
all.
We're not even playing the game anymore.
They did it. Yay.
Woo!
Ethan, you can get some merchandise anyway.
Oh,
I'll
he's going to
send-
get sweet merch.
Yeah, I'll send something your way.
All right.
Yeah,
Now,
make
Higgins-
sure you
anyway-
cut out that one part.
Wait,
That
is
may
there
get me
not
in
a
trouble
thing
with the
of his
government.
address?
No, it's okay.
Higgins will find it out. He knows his brother.
The Pentagon's fine. Anyway, back to Ethan's email. Oh, we're at the end. Love, Ethan.
Thank you, Ethan, for that email. And thank you, Zach, for emailing us as well. If you want to email with a better email than Ethan, please do. Now, just for fun.
You know where they can do that at?
Oh, yeah, I guess. Well,
The email they can do that at?
Where?
Or do you want me to wait until we sweep up?
No, just say it now.
Okay, you can do that at the Comixology at 0-8studios.com.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it in one.
Now, which one of these did me and Higgins write is the question.
Oh, you wrote one too?
I wrote one for each of you. Higgins wrote one for each of you.
I'm gonna say that the one about the dads, the one that it's right there, Snoop and Higgins are super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of them.
But which one? Who wrote it? Who's clever enough to write such a thing?
I don't know. That seems like a Snoop thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That was a Snoop thing.
And I mean it, Aaron. I would be your dad.
I'm not calling you daddy.
No, I don't want that. That's
Okay.
weird. I just want to give you a good Christmas.
Wait,
That's
so
all.
do we get allowances?
Do you know?
I'm her dad. I'm not your dad.
Wait, what were the other ones?
I wrote the thing about the OnlyFans page.
Oh, okay.
I did ice cold chili dogs
was-
and
it was-
happy as a clam on a log.
Oh, I thought you wrote cock, but okay.
No, that was all Ethan. I mean, that was all you.
Ethan's all cock.
Or Michael, I mean.
What was Ethan? What is your obsession with the OJ case?
He's just
I think he
very
just wanted to make it-
passionate
I
about
think
an
he just wanted
innocent
to make-
man
Yeah.
getting accused of a wrongdoing.
I guess so.
Well, we did the fun bit. We did the book. Higgins said the email. Is there anything else that we need to talk about before we wrap up and I eat more pizza?
Yeah, I can wrap us up real quick, real fast, real quick.
Let's do it.
You can find me at Mike Higgins93 on Twitter or X, I guess.
No, Twitter is X.
Twitter is X.
Yeah, so X or Instagram.
The picture is an X, but it's still called Twitter.
It's very
on
confusing.
your phone.
Yes.
You can also find me on Instagram at jsturm93. I don't have a Threads. Do you have a Threads?
Higgins, I would never thread anybody.
All right. I'm honestly scared to jump in because I know I'm not going to say anything on it.
Well, also, you're old. You can't be getting into the new social media.
And like it's an @ sign, but it's a little crazier.
What is this thing you're doing with your hands?
That's what I'm saying. It's crazier, Snoop.
It doesn't make any more sense than a second ago. Just stop. All right, but yeah, you're not on Threads. We get it, but you're on Twitter and Instagram.
You can find Snoop on Instagram at Snoop_Lynch. He might be on there.
I won't, but
He might be. He always comes back. You can find Michael at his website, which is 0-8studios.com.
right.
And if he wants to tell you something else, he can right now.
this is your platform.
You can also email me personally, michael.lopez at 0-8studios.com.
And not everybody can do it on the first try.
Well, I was just about to say the name as you read it, but technicalities.
You can
I don't know.
find
You can find Bethany at certain places if she wants to be found.
she's sometimes at your house.
She's sometimes at my
That's
house.
usually where I find you.
I sometimes hang out at her house.
Yeah, with the Newman in my hand.
No,
Why would
What
you?
type of drink?
Ew.
that is gross.
I forgot we named a drink. Forgot we named a drink after a poop.
After you forgot you named a drink after a poop, which you named
wait a
after our
second,
friend.
And also a history teacher.
Oh, yeah.
At Bethany Tilson. That's it.
All right.
Pretty simple.
Bethany
Straight
Dot
to the
Tilson?
point.
No, Bethany Tilson.
There it is.
And that's also my Venmo.
And then
Please send her money. You can find Aaron in the
our
hospital in
very,
about
very,
a month.
our very, very
Or the
special,
hospice.
Or hanging out with my dads.
our very, very
Yeah.
special guest, Aaron Lopez. Do you want people to know where to find you, or are you cool just being?
And they could reach out to her through
No.
the studio.
Yeah, they
Right.
can reach out.
Aaron at Michael Lopez.
That's what to say. Reach out to my assistant in here.
Tell her how good she did.
That's what I am now, huh?
Email in, say she did a great job. She was a big old scaredy baby, like we said at the beginning of the episode, but she really nailed it. Everybody give Aaron
I wasn't
one
a
more round
scaredy
of
baby.
applause.
Aaron, stop clapping for yourself so we can clap for you. Thank you. No, we appreciate you being on the show, Aaron.
No, it's cool.
Even though
I
you
know.
demanded that you be on the show. We appreciate that you
Well,
demanded
I needed to assert myself because somebody on the show said that you didn't know that many redheads or cool redheads or
that. So you came on the show to tell me that you found one? Mm-hmm. Thank you.
yeah.
Who is it?
Steve.
Oh, he's a good redhead. In
Or
fact,
like a strawberry blonde.
it's funny you mentioned Steve because Steve might be involved on Higgins and I's next podcast.
We haven't asked him about it, but he did do it the last episode with us when we read this book. I picked this one this time because Snoop picked the last one before this one, and we're gonna read Sweet Tooth Volume 2 by Jeff Lemire because they did the Netflix show
Quietly.
season 3 quietly.
No, 2. I think.
Two? I
Unless
have
they
no-
just did 3 and I didn't notice that either.
I don't know, it's 2 or 3.
Yeah, so-
and they did the show like back in like
March, April,
yeah, one of those
March,
months.
February. Yes.
Yeah,
So we're gonna read Sweet Tooth Volume 2. We're gonna see what happened to that kid after he got sweet toothed.
we're gonna put more syrup in our bodies, and yeah,
It's gonna be good.
it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
We're gonna run down the table. Everybody pick a fun sign off, I guess.
Yeah, we'll start with Aaron. Aaron.
Say bye.
Bye.
Very original. Michael.
I'm gonna steal yours. Cheers.
Damn it. Bethany.
Well, I'm sorry, guys, but I gotta take another Higgins. So peace out, dudes.
That's cool. That's cool, bro. All right, Higgins.
I'm last. I'm always last.
Well, with that attitude, I'm not surprised. All right, well, Higgins,
I
while you're
haven't
thinking of a
gotten
sign off, I would love to remind you to get that egg in you.
And
God, he's taking a Newman right now. Look at his
I really,
face.
What's that
I'm
face
not. I'm
for?
not gonna lie. This is gonna be one of the first times that I'm having a real tough time figuring something out.
I wouldn't say it's the first time. I've listened to enough episodes to point out a few.
Bing, bang, boom. Es ist ein wie Donkey Kong. That means it's on like Donkey Kong.
That's right. You speak German.
In German.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Short the 2 words.
That was what you learned in German class.
I almost said the last part, but it's kind of a bad word, and I didn't want to offend our
Nobody will
German
understand.
listeners, Schlampa.
All right, thanks.